said, this new concept is important to me, and they came and basically shitted on it. Yes, ma'am. Okay, no, you're being disruptive right now. That's not what I'm talking about. We live in the same house. You could have wrote that down or asked me. We got to go to the same appointment this morning. Okay. As I was saying before my child interrupted me, uh, it's unaccountable. It's 100% unaccountable to bring people over here and then let them run rampant, because I will check them and block you. Before, when I was doing a strategic advising, if the client recommended somebody and that person was not good, they both got fired. So that's how that, because chickens of a feather flock together. That's how that goes. So it was a perfect example of, you don't want to hold other people accountable, and now they about to blow your spot up. And they're going to make it so you can't learn how to be personally accountable. So I don't care who you are, to include my own child. If you are being personally unaccountable, you're going to be held personally accountable. And if you don't want to be personally accountable, you're going to leave, because you're not going to disrupt my personal accountability anything. And so sidekick, that was their one chance. If it happens again, they're gone. Point blank, period. So for those of you who missed it and weren't there, I let it play out. I told y'all to leave. It's going to be recorded. It's recorded. I just need to unlist the link and make it public so you can see that last 5 minutes and how that went down. But you are allowing unaccountable people in your life, and then you're wondering why shit going left. It's because you're allowing unaccountable people to do unaccountable things, and you just want them to stop. They're not. They're not going to stop until you tell them to stop. They're not going to stop until you leave the situation. That's when it's going to actually stop. I just wish they would act right. They're not. If they didn't learn if they did not train their neural pathways to teach themselves how to be personally accountable, they're not going to be personally accountable. I am the only person on earth teaching you how to use your brain so that it can be personally accountable. That's it. And the last thing I will say before I get into neuroplasticity is, I did 3 lives yesterday. On Monday, I do 3 lives. My second live on TikTok, I asked a simple question. Has anyone taught you how to use your brain? I've asked you that question before. And what took place was, everybody except for Mia said no. So I said, Mia said yes. And I said, who? And she said, my mom, my aunt, and my grandmother. I said, okay. I said, what did they teach you? And she started talking about what they taught her, how to not to stay focused and to not let things upset her and not be emotional and all of that. And I said, okay, that's advice. I said, did they tell you what part of the brain to use in order to do that? And so I gave her examples. Not being emotional means don't let somebody hijack your amygdala, which is located in the temporal lobe. And to stay focused is located in the frontal lobe, the executive function of your brain, when you're learning new concepts. And so I kept trying to reiterate that with her, and it just was not clicking for her. She just, what she heard was, your mama and your aunt and your grandmother didn't know what they was talking about. That's not what I said. And she just kept saying, but then they said this and they said this. And I just want to make sure and let everybody here know, no one is teaching you how to use your brain because it didn't come with a manual. So it didn't come with a manual. You don't know how to use it. You don't know how to say, somebody is trying to hijack my amygdala right now. This is not going to work. I'm getting ready to go back to my frontal lobe, and I'm going to stay there so that I can have full use of my entire brain, and I will not let them emotionalize anything that I'm doing. So if you don't know that process, then you're not going to be able to use these resources that exist on my graphic t-shirt. Does that make sense? So in summary, I am going to let whatever unaccountable people, y'all call them trolls, play out if I hear from my higher power to tell me to let that play out. If that's a problem for you, go away, because it's going to happen in your life. And if you're like, I just want to come here and I don't want to deal with that. Okay, cool. Well, where are you going to learn to deal with it? Where will you learn to handle unaccountable people if not here? In real time, where they're not really coming for you, they're coming for me, and I can handle it. So wouldn't it be better for you to see how it plays out real time while your amygdala is not actually being hijacked? And if you find yourself doing like this, now you go, oh, hold up. This is what amygdala hijacking feels like. Oh, this is what happens. This is how I feel when unaccountable people come into